Ended up right on the reef, scraped the shit out of myself. Told my mom I'll never do that again, sell my gear. Left for California.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the X-Foils. I'm sitting here with Hector Acai. That's what your name is in my phone. That's your name now.
Right on, man. Thank you.
Welcome, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. So you're also part of this whole community in the foilers. You tow, you wing, you downwind, you prone, you do it all, and you actually had a downwind session today, right?
I wouldn't call it I'm trying to get back into it. It's been a while, but yeah, I went out today, tried the new, the 860R I bought from you a while ago. I really like the 980S, so I was, happy with that, and spoke to Vicente today, and he was like, dude, you got to try the 860R. Kraft was like, 860R.
Oh, he's hooked on, dude, yeah. He got that 1075, the big one.
Yeah.
And he's hooked on it.
Yeah. So I was like, let me take it out, and it took me like 20 minutes to get up, but once I got up, dude, it was on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you downwinded that foil before?
I think I tried it once, and I didn't downwind it. I just paddled it out to the reef to learn, just to subsurf it.
Up.
Yeah.
Out at the reef right in front of Punta Las Marias?
Yeah, Punta.
Nice.
Yeah,
because you live right there, same place that Kiko lives.
That's right.
Like right on the point there. It's so epic.
Yes.
I've only been in the garden once, but you go to the garden, it's like full of sails, full of windsurf gear, kite gear, wing gear. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Perfect spot. I've been there for probably 12 years now.
And you own one of those condos?
I do own one, yeah.
Sick.
I rented for about 10 years, so I just bought mine. Thank God I was able to find. It's hard to find, apartments for sale there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're a waterman or something, I wouldn't want to let that go.
It's the perfect place, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In San Juan.
Did you ever kite?
I did kite.
And did you kite out of there? You launched, hot launched right there in front?
Yes.
Because the wind angle is not great. It's a little bit wind shadowed. You got to be pretty good because there's rocks right in the front.
Yes, I've landed on those rocks a few times, dude. Yeah, it's a really hot launch. Definitely Ocean Park is where it's at to learn, and beautiful beach.
Yeah.
But just walking down there, you just have it in front of the house. And then for me, the reef in front, Punta, it's right there, so it's perfect.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah.
How long was it from your last downwinder to today? Because it's been a while, right?
Yeah, man, it's been a while, and I kind of get envious. I see you guys. I know Gio, he's killing it, and you guys are just putting in the hours, so obviously you're going to get the results.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to balance everything I want to do. I work a lot, and I'm getting into surfing regular now with Alex and step-offs, and so balancing everything out. But when it comes to wind, that's the king, right? That's the stokeness, and there's no other sport, I think, as far as. So yeah, it's been probably a month or so. Last time I did it, I actually went with Dario on my jet ski, and he followed me to kind of record, and then we parked in Punta, and there was a bunch of wingers out there, and we kind of recorded them winging and stuff. So that was the last time I downwind foiled.
Yeah.
So,
and how long did this run take you today? Because it's 4 miles.
Yeah,
right, to your house?
It's enough. It took me 17 minutes to paddle from the Cangrejos bridge out to the wind line. And then it took me probably another 20 minutes to get up on foil. I got up on foil right before the buoy.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my indicator. And I try to stay on the right outside of the buoy marker.
Yeah.
So I'm still out with the ocean swell. And when I finally got up, though, I got a nice, good, clean run to the point where I was so focused, or trying to stay focused on not falling.
You missed your
that
exit
I didn't realize, oh shit. So it would have been a perfect downwind line for Caballos. So I almost made it I didn't make it as far.
You mean to La Ocho?
To La Ocho, I'm sorry, to La Ocho. So I made it almost to in between the Waimea Rock, and I had to I just sat down, and so it took me another 20 minutes of just paddling, sitting down to get back to my house. It was a total of an hour. That was the 4 miles.
Oh,
took
that's
me an
pretty
hour.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So on foil, I was probably on foil for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, once you're on foil, it's crazy how fast you go.
Yeah.
You just burn through miles all of a sudden. And I've been through that where you're paddling, and then you finally get up, and you're just so focused on what you're doing, where you're going, that you're like, uh-oh. Sometimes when I'm mid-run, I have to be like, hey, where am I going out? Because we do all these different runs, and I'm like, where's my exit point? I don't want to pass it.
Yeah, dude, it's so I think the mental energy also contributes to the exhaustion.
Yeah.
You just want to not fall and read the ocean swell correctly, where you're just kind of, or at least in my case.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's always asking, what's the hardest thing? And it's all hard. But what's really hard is that you try so hard to get up, then you're so exhausted, and then you're so stressed out or panicked to come off of foil that you actually, man, you push yourself to a certain point that you would never push yourself on a foil. Like your heart rate, your exhaustion, because you're like, I do not want to go through that 20 minutes of trying to find a bump to get up. And you're like, you're on foil and you're like, okay, where do I go? And it really starts to happen is when it doesn't feel like it's that much effort to get up, and then you can actually relax for a second and breathe. And then that's when you really start to learn how to downwind, because you're like, oh, I didn't know I could foil this. You know,
Yeah,
and you all of a sudden relax into it. And it takes a while. I mean, especially coming from a month not doing it and then like doing a run.
And then also it's
time.
like when we went to Hood River in Maui, right? I came back. I remember I called you. I was like, let's do it, La Ocho. I put on that 150X, which is what I was using in Maui.
Yeah.
And it was a big swell day. And I was like, I got this. You know, I just came from Maui. I did my last day in Maui. I was able to do like a dry run.
Nice.
So I was like, I got this. 2 hours later, you're waiting for me in the parking lot for like an hour. I'm like, dude, I thought I had it, but you know, so
That's tough.
yeah, there's lots of ups and downs in this sport, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So what's your day job if it's not foiling?
my day job, I sell acai bowls. Yeah, I sell acai
You're
bowls.
just sitting behind the counter selling acai bowls?
No, I not me. I used to. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. Although it's probably fun still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a business I founded about 11 years ago called Acai Express, and we started here in Puerto Rico. And you know, through the franchise model, I was able to expand it. And today we have 59 locations within Puerto Rico and the United States. So
How many?
59.
59.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So we're done really well with it. You know, I've learned a lot, and yeah, it's a goes perfect with the lifestyle, right? Like I know you guys. I was gonna bring you acai. I was like, and I didn't get a chance, but I'm gonna hook you up when you come back. I got this new product. We just got into the retail supermarkets and Walmart.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I want to bring you a couple of those pints so you could try them out and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's not an easy feat to go in there and like make a product, the labeling, the packaging, the shipping. That stuff's got to be shipped cold.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It's been 2 years in the making. So acai grows in the Amazon rainforest in Brazil. I have a broker that brings it in. We buy it from a local factory there in Brazil. Been doing it probably for 7 years now. And I use a local distribution company that's already set up in the supermarket. So they already have they already have the relationships. It's called Ballester Hermanos. So for me, it was more of a licensing play just on the brand.
Oh,
right?
I
So they
see.
pay me a royalty on gross sales. But you know, they buy the container of the acai. They're the ones I get in the supermarket. I just support with the branding and things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right
So
on.
it's 2 years, man. Took 2 years to get in there. So
And how
Yeah.
long has it been in the supermarket?
a week. I got a picture sent today that it's sold out. So we'll see.
Oh, really?
I don't know if they forgot to deliver to that store and it's completely empty, or if it's sold out for real. So
That's cool.
we'll see. Yeah.
So that's been 10 years?
11. This is we're on
11
our
years?
11th year. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Thank
yeah,
you.
I mean, we always go to get an acai when we can, you know. It's great to get out of a run. There's always a truck or a spot close by where you can get it. How many of them are actually yours?
So we operate 10 corporately, and the rest are franchise owned.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how many of that are outside of the States? Outside of Puerto Rico, sorry.
Yeah. So
Because I was in Cocoa Beach and I drove by one.
yeah, that was the first one that we did in the U.S. My cousin actually lives over there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was just there. Yeah, so we have, I believe, 8 in the United States. We actually have about 10 that's under development. We have 6 that we're opening in the Miami area, Doral, Wynwood. We're opening in Orlando, Dr. Phillips area, Lake Nona. We're opening one in Georgia and in Texas, New Brunswick, near Austin. And then we just sold the territory of Panama, so we're also now going international. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool, pretty. Like I would never thought that I'd be where I'm at today, right? So it's kind of
cool.
Yeah.
And you have some business partners, I guess? Or
No,
it's just you?
just me, man.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, I have franchisees. They're my business partners.
Yeah, of course.
I have a good mentor, a good friend of mine, Lyle Swanson. He's the owner of Subway here.
Oh,
They just
cool.
brought Wingstops. They have over 180 Subways. So he's kind of like the guy who's kind of, led me through this path.
Yeah, because I didn't know how long you've been in this, and it's big. It's really cool, and you see you marketing all over the place, which is super important.
Yeah,
up on billboards, and you get a new product or a tajin or some mango spice or something's going on, and you're all over it. So
thank you, man.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's a lot of work.
It is. That's why I can't download with you guys every day.
People depend on you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Those people have your stores, and they depend on a new flavor or something special, or just that support system, and you are that.
Sure, you definitely have a lot of responsibility, but we're working on improving at all times, and we do have some franchisees that are very happy and stuff. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Where did your water sports journey start?
So
I mean, you say you're surfing, so I assume that it was surfing and.
No, actually, I was a boogie boarder.
Okay.
I saw your Randy's one that I started. I was a boogie boarder. So I'm originally Puerto Rican. I was 13 when I first started boogie boarding. I had a cousin that was into it, and my mom bought me like all the stuff for my 13th birthday. And we went to Los Tubos in Manatí.
Yeah.
Randy was talking about that's his home break.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 feet. And
you're fresh off of the X-Foils podcast, right?
Yeah. I actually just saw it 2 days ago, 100%. So good one too, dude.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about Randy.
Yeah.
And
I mean, everybody, it's just super cool because, I mean, we hang out all the time, but there's something very intimate about the way that we're having a conversation, right? It feels more important. I'm listening a lot more intently. I don't have my phone around. I'm not thinking about what's going on next. It's very thoughtful. So it means something, which is really cool. And which is strange, I've incorporated this into my daily, because it's something I had no idea how to do. Me and Arlen just sat down, and then I booked like 4 guests in a row, and I'm just doing it, right? And when you sit down with somebody, and like in your daily life, you feel like you can have more thoughtful conversations, because it's just, I've learned it from this, and it's been really fun and really cool to kind of actually engage in that way, right?
100%, dude. And like Randy said, like we don't really know each other in the water. Like, hey, what's up, bro? And that's pretty much all you know about the person, right?
Yeah.
And then definitely. So I started boogie boarding, Los Tubos. Ended up right on the reef, scraped the shit out of myself. Told my mom I'll never do that again, sell my gear. Left for California. Didn't like the cold water, so I did no water sports over there. Came back when I was 19. And then one of my good friends, Alex Moreno, who actually started Acai Express with me. He's a big boogie boarder, and then I went back and got into boogie boarding. So I did that for probably 8 years. And then I'm
trying to get PJ on here. PJ
Tartak. See,
yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. You should, dude.
I
That's the guy with Bravito TV.
Yeah.
Whenever I want to know what the waves are doing, he's super cool, man. I can get you his contact.
No, we're in touch. We're booked for next week.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
In.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a foil podcast, but all I'm going to do is ask him, why aren't you foiling? Why aren't you foiling?
You should.
Yeah.
I'll hook you up with a lot of the local guys like Aldiel Jimenez, Bobby Quiñones, Joto Flores, Carlos Cabrero, a lot of the local guys,
Yeah.
So I went on the boogie board thing, and then I got introduced to sup surfing, stand-up paddleboarding.
Oh, cool.
And that through my buddy Art Weibel. You know Art?
Yes.
For me, he's like Laird Hamilton. He's like my role model in the water sports.
Yeah.
And I started doing the sup thing, sup surfing in Punta. It's perfect. I would see my neighbors paddling on their shortboards, 20 minutes to get out there. They'd catch 3 waves, on their shortboard, and I catch 20 waves.
People don't do that anymore.
No.
Right?
Now they go out on the kayaks and very, very.
But very rare.
Yeah. During COVID.
Oh, it was popular. Yeah.
Because I was out there in the reef during lockdown.
Yeah.
So I got really big into sup surfing. I got into the racing scene with Mickey and stuff and Mike Vicente.
That's right. I forgot that when we all started this downwind thing, you had a sup background.
Yeah, that was basically I didn't boogie board anymore.
Because you can paddle like a beast.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, dude. We were like the open ocean downwind runs. We were doing a good run. We should do, or you guys that have the long distance downwind foiling down, is El Rio de Loíza, which is past Baciatalega.
Yeah.
So we used to go down that far and come all the way to Park Boulevard. Mm-hmm. Me and Art were the first ones to do unassisted Culebra to Fajardo. That took us 5.5 hours. That was a sketchy. We took
How many miles is that?
I think it was 21 nautical miles. And there was no Google Earth where you could like, we went with no boat or anything. We took the cargo
Did you guys
ferry.
stay close together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took the cargo ferry with our boards, 14-foot downwind boards, put them on the cargo ferry, got to like Culebra, hired a taxi, threw like them on the roof with the straps. I think I bought like a ham, egg, and cheese sandwich in the local bakery, wrapped it around my thing. I had like my water pack and just went downwind, And when we got to, I think it was Icacos or one of the little islands there, from there to the Fajardo Marina where our car was parked, was upwind. Like we didn't read the wind that well the day before. So that was really the hardest stretch of it,
Damn.
So we were doing that kind of stuff.
Did you ever do the prone thing? Like prone?
No, never.
That seems brutal.
Super.
Oh my God.
Mickey's, the guy who Art started San Juan paddleboarding with, Rafa
Yeah.
was his name. He was a big downwind prone guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day because I don't know. I saw something on Instagram of these guys practicing and they're doing this prone thing. And
Yeah, it's getting
and
big again.
sometimes I lay on my board, my downwind board to paddle, and there's just the spray in your face, and it's just so brutal, man.
Could you imagine if these guys are going to do Molokai to Oahu? Imagine doing that downwind like Jamie Mitchell fucking.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's what I always think about when I'm suffering through a downwind run and I'm just paddling. I'm thinking,
Imagine
this
if
can't
you're.
be this bad. Like people do this for fun. Like
Yeah.
this is their sport. I'm like, this is rough. I want to get on foil fast.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. I mean, I'm sure I could. I would not want to do that.
It's fucking next level. There's some next level watermen out
Yeah.
there.
But you were doing it.
Well, I was doing
You're
stand up.
paddling.
I was
Yeah,
stand
you're
up.
paddling. But
Yeah.
even then, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, it was fun, dude. Like when you got some good, like there was the downwind boards kept evolving, and
Yeah.
you were kind of,
Cruising.
gliding and doing downwinds, and
Yeah.
so I got really big into that. There were some really good races. There was a windsurf shop Vela Uno,
Mm-hmm.
and they did one in this Condado Lagoon that went around Old San Juan.
Oh, sick.
And like all the best guys in the world came. Danny Chang, like it was like the event. They did it for 2 years, and the second year they ran out of money and like couldn't pay the athletes, so that stopped working. And then the Rincon Beach Boy, my buddy Greg Carson and those guys over there from Taino Divers,
Yep.
they did that was another sick race, dude. It would bring a lot of like top level athletes from all over the world.
That's cool.
There was a guy from Mexico, I'm trying to remember his name, and he won it a couple times. Ripped up dude. He wasn't Mexican. He was like, yeah, I know you're originally from Canada, right?
Yeah, but I grew up in Mexico.
Yeah, but he was like you. He was like an American guy that like lived in Mexico.
Huh.
I'll try to get his name. But yeah, paddleboarding was the scene back then, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
That's a lot of work.
yeah. It was fun.
And where did you come off of that? When did you learn how to kite? And
I think-
how long did you do that?
Man, I did it for a few years. It was, I really got into the sup surfing. And then obviously got introduced to kiting. I started with a twin tip and then got into the directional. For me, it was all about wave riding.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I still like to do with the foils and stuff. And then I started foil kiting. The first, the Carafinos. Kiko
Yeah.
talked about it, Mango
Yeah.
Carafino.
Yeah.
So I had some of those, and I was doing like jumps on the kite with the foil.
Oh, so that you were pretty early on the foil.
Yeah, because
Nice.
of Art. Art was like, we lived in the same building. He lived on the 6th floor. I lived on the 3rd floor. So, yeah,
That's
so I
pretty
had
epic.
access to all the new shit that he would bring.
That's sick.
Yeah.
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 Foiling in the early days is pretty wild, with the kite.
The walk of shame, dude.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do much walk of shame with the foil kite. I was lucky.
You rip on the foil. I saw you I've seen you on the
with the kite?
On the kite. Impressive, dude.
Well, I've been doing it for a long time, and that's all I did in Mexico. We had like 8 knots every day. Like,
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's why I'm so good with a kite. Is I flew a kite in 8 to 10 knots every day. That's all I would do. So I'm just super efficient with the kite. And when the foil came out, man, it blew my mind that I could be on the water and actually go somewhere with 8 knots.
Yeah.
On a 9 meter, like just so wild. It's so much fun, and I don't actually kite foil that much.
No.
No, not really, because I don't know. I'm either surfing, with
Not
the
anymore, you mean?
yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't do it often. Like out
Yeah.
of all of the stuff that I do foiling, I mean, kite foiling is the thing that I do the least. I still kite because when it's really windy and I have like an hour, I'll go out and throw a couple jumps and do some spins or whatever. But then when it's really light, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably surfing at La Ocho with a foil, or, you know, we downwind in super marginal light wind conditions.
Yeah, dude, the foil and level of like what's happening now, that's all you want to do, right? There's no more room for kiting and stuff like that.
Yeah. Dale came from the PR Adventures, Surf Adventures. You know that guy from the West Coast? He does some e-foil lessons, stuff like that.
I don't think I've met Dale.
He popped into the shop today and he's like, man, he just has something with his, you know, little injury or something. And he's been off the water for a little bit and he didn't realize, like, man, the way that he articulated it was perfect. He's like, I was so foil brained.
Foil brained.
Yeah, and he's saying that he was just so hooked on going foiling all the time that some other responsibilities that he had to do were just like not important, you know? And then he got injured and he wasn't foiling as much. He's like, oh man, I got all this stuff to do. You don't realize how much stuff like you just put in the background because you're like you're so foil brained that you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go foiling and then
they have
some
another
things
word
just
for that.
pass
It's
by.
called addiction.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it is for sure.
Yeah, dude.
It was just
nothing else matters.
Yeah, it was just cool that he came in. He was like, that's all I was doing. That's all I cared about. It's like, you got to be careful with that foil brain.
Yeah, dude.
You know, that happens for sure. So the kite foiling, was that a big part of your journey or not really?
It was fun for a while. I definitely love kiting. I was more into wave riding with the kite, you know, with the surfboard out at Punta and stuff and Caballos.
Yeah.
So that to me was like, once again, it's like, you know, I want to ride waves. So foiling was fun when there was light wind and cruising. I saw the podcast with Kiko and they talked about like the races. Mm-hmm. And I actually was the first foil race. It was part of like the cup or whatever and they had it at Parque Barbosa. And I signed up for it, dude. I think I did like two heats and I couldn't. It was so exhausting. And I was like 230 pounds at the time. Like I was way overweight. But I signed up for it thinking like no training for it or nothing. And I was using a Carafino foil.
Yeah.
I had like the worst foil. So I never really got into the race scene or anything like that. Like that wasn't really like what I liked.
Yeah.
But the waves. So
yeah.
I just like the waves.
You can't really. I've heard people say it before that don't wing foil or they don't do anything else other than kite foil, and they're like, "Yeah, I love riding the waves." I'm like, "You can't ride a wave on a foil with a kite. Like, really? The foil is so efficient that you just outrun the kite at all times. You know, there's just no way." And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, it's because you've never done anything else."
It's the same feeling. Like I got really big into the tow foiling. And that's all I wanted to do. And then recently I started surfing with Alex. And now it's like, that's all I want to do now. Yeah. Like that feeling of like, even though you're riding the wave on the foil, and there's times when you can kind of be in the pocket, it's not the same like really being in the pocket, slowing down and like really seeing the wave in front of you kind of thing, right? So even with tow foil or any foil sport, you're not really surfing or you don't have that feeling like you do with the surfboard, you know? At least that's been my experience so far.
Yeah, I mean, gear has got to come a long way, and it has. And there's a lot of different things that you can do with it to, like we started experimenting with throwing on big fat tails on our small front wings to like slow yourself down, but get that turnability that you want to surf, but feel like you're drawing out the lines a little bit more instead of outrunning the wave.
You were proning that way with proning?
No, towing.
Oh,
like we tow her into 5-6 foot, and you take a smaller front wing, but you took a big back tail, and it just kind of slows you down a little bit. Just enough that you feel like you're still on a small wing. So you've got that like super nice rad carve to it, but it feels like you're able to use the face of the wave a little bit more. So it's getting closer, right, to what you want it to feel like on a surfboard.
Sure.
And I get into this in the debate with Ryan, one of my instructors, all the time. You know,
I like Ryan. Yeah.
He works with us. That's all he wants to do is surf.
Yeah.
I was talking to him the other day. I'm like, bro, you got to do something else. Like, go kiting once in a while. Go winging. I mean, he's a great athlete. Yeah. You know? But he just wants to surf.
The other day, I think the last session we had at Caballos.
Oh, he was in Caballos with you
and he
guys.
was telling me like, "Oh, Dylan just wants to foil it, and I want to surf." We'll get you out there this winter, dude.
Yeah,
Alex was like, "I don't want him to start doing step offs, dude. He's gonna start bringing people out here to do step offs." Alex was telling me. I was like, "We want more. The more, we want." You know.
I mean, we do some here and there. It's just not my focus.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, taking people out there on
It's
a
a
big
responsibility,
day,
dude.
it's a lot. You know, like having making sure the equipment is up to point, making sure everything follows like it's in the line. Alex is one guy. He's his ski, his responsibility. It's running a business and throwing people out there that just because it's not saying we don't do it or we haven't done it or couldn't do it more, but it's a lot. There's some days that I just say no. Like, I don't want to take people out there. Maybe the ski hasn't been run in a week, and then all of a sudden someone wants to go to a step off. It's like, nah, I don't think so. Not today.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. And you've been in some trouble in the waves. We all have.
Yeah.
That's not fun, man.
No, dude.
Not fun to be in that situation. And you did that brag course, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's worth every second of it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out of that brag course and being like, holy crap, I am being so irresponsible.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
They make you feel like you're just a loose cannon, that you could be lost at sea at any moment, right? And I think they're trained to do that in the course, is to make you like really, they grind it into you and be like, well, what are you going to do now? And you're like, oh, well, and they're like, too late. You're like, oh my God. And they really grind it into you over those 2 days. And then I came out of it and I was like, oh my God. And I took my team aside and I'm like, we're doing this. And a lot of things have changed. And then, time passes and then you get more relaxed, and it happens to all of us, right? And then the waves come again, and then you forget this or you forgot that, and you're going out with a buddy. So it's like, it's not that important. And then when you come out of that course, it's like, no.
Dude, I have like a CPR machine in my car now after that course.
Yeah. I bought 4 AEDs.
Yeah.
And I put them, I have one right up there.
Yeah.
And I've got one at the hotel at Numero Uno. We've got one at the other hotel. We've got them all, places where we feel like we need them. And it's like, it never occurred to me ever. Even doing our CPR course every year and being up to date with that, they don't really fixate on having an AED and how important that could be, right?
Yeah.
So that's a super cool course. And this year I just didn't have the time to do it again. But I definitely want to do it again. I think they do it every year, and it sells out. It sells out fast. I know.
It's becoming so popular.
It was expensive this year too.
Yeah, but dude, for everything they give you, it's totally worth it.
No, for sure.
We did an extra day with Uncle Pat.
Yeah, with the jet ski.
Yeah, that was definitely worth it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to do that. Like, I know Carson over there in Rincon, they're doing, more focus to that.
Yeah.
But, I'd like to get a group of guys out here that are out there on the jet ski and get more involved in like training with the actual jet ski.
Yeah. Every time we go out to Caballos, I mean, there's guys that go out there with their dinghy, anchor it by themselves, just no shirt on, anchor their boat, go out, surf by themselves.
Oh yeah.
Like, God damn. Yeah. You're like, holy crap. You're like, you're wild. Like Dickie.
Dickie,
like he was out there. We were there, like all of us. He arrived like right after us, so we didn't get to foil Caballos.
Yeah,
and
he foils too, dude. He rips on the foil.
I know. He used to work with Lift, right?
I don't know. I think
I think he did something.
He's Quicksilver, I think.
Yeah.
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 I've taken him out to Caballos before, and he just has this unique style. There's like a couple.
I mean, he rips.
Yeah, he rips.
He surfs, man.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about him. I'm like, damn, what a badass. Just comes out there to the outer reef, anchors,
shirt,
knows exactly where to anchor by himself, goes out and surfs. And then I was thinking about all the scenarios. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, that could be sketchy.
He goes to Sunset too and does that where there's like no channel. And it's big.
We were there, and who was I with? I can't remember, but he knew who it was. Oh, it was Randy. I think Randy knew who he was. He's like, oh, that's Dickie. And he's like, if the waves aren't good, he'll get back in his boat and he'll go to Sunset. And I was like, let's hope the waves aren't good.
Yeah, if you see Dickie and those guys up, we're not foiling there. That's why I started surfing. I'm like, oh well.
Yeah.
If you can't beat them, join them, right?
Yeah. Well, the reef right beside is is fine.
Cuervo.
You know, yeah.
For foiling?
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm always make sure that I'm very clear to everybody that's there. I don't want to foil around them. You know, if I take out Ryan, he's one guy, he piggybacked on my boat.
Yeah,
you know,
he's got to suck
I'm
up
like,
the foiling.
you know, and we'll be
Yeah.
careful. And I know
Yeah.
that I'm creating wake, and I know how crucial that can be. And I'm like, well, he's got to suck it up a little bit. And but yeah, anybody goes out there, man, you gotta give way. And then I also go to them. I'm like, hey, if anybody ever needs anything, you know, wave us down. And then sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll see them catch a wave, and we'll drag them back up and gain some points. You know, be like,
100%.
you know, we're cool. We want to be all enjoying this wave. So
100%.
and I've never had any issues out there. It's always been good vibes.
I've had issues, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it can happen, right?
Yeah.
But there's only a handful of people that I've been out there that actually we went up to them. Like they were anchoring. We're like, cool, we got a couple more waves. It was me and Arlen. And we went up to the boat in the channel. We're like, hey guys, just so you know, when you guys start paddling in, we'll leave and it's all yours. And if you need anything, let us know. He's like, yeah, you better leave. We're like, whoa. Like,
I think I know who it is too. Probably
like-
the same guy I had a problem with.
probably. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I just came over here to say, enjoy, you know, like I am leaving. Don't worry about it. And he's like giving me attitude. I was like, whatever. Nothing's worth it. You know, you thought it was worth it, obviously, to pick a fight.
Well, I didn't actually. I just like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, 100%.
And I don't really like to take shit from anybody. I'm respecting you. Like, why are you gonna disrespect me? You know?
Yeah.
But
I don't like conflict, so I'm just like,
yeah.
gosh it. I just don't deal with that. It's not worth my time. I've never been a fighter. I've never thrown a punch in my life. Never received a punch in my life.
That's great, man.
Yeah. So you've spent time in the dojo, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do jujitsu. I've kind of got hurt and haven't done it for probably about almost a year now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's been a full year, but I've been out for a while.
Okay.
I've been doing it for about 14 years. I'm this
damn.
close. Yeah, I'm a brown belt. I'm this close to getting my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Did some competitions.
Just
and
so
stuff.
all you guys out there know.
Nah, dude.
Just kidding.
Nah. Thank God. I've never been in a physical alteration.
Why did you get into it? What was the reason behind getting into jiu-jitsu? Was it to fight or to protect yourself?
No,
or
actually,
defense,
I love UFC. I love mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And at the time, my buddy Alex Moreno, who I boogie boarded with, he's like maybe 135, 140 pounds.
Is he a surfer now? Is he still?
No, he always boogie boards.
Always boogie.
Yeah, he lives in Colorado and in Bali.
Oh, okay, different.
Yeah,
guy.
I don't know if I
No.
introduced to him. Yeah, so he was like 135, maybe 140 wet, right? Skinny little dude. And I was at that time like 238, dude. Even though I kited,
What are you now?
I'm 190.
Okay.
I was fat, dude. I used to smoke.
You're a big boy.
Yeah, big bone, yeah. So he's like, hey, I started doing this jujitsu thing, just like the UFC when they get on the ground and stuff. You want to come take a class with me? And I was like, yeah, I'll go do that, right? And he submitted me like 3 times in that first. And I remember I looked at him, I was like, dude, that's the last time you ever do that to me again, dude. I threw up like 3 times after the first class. I was so exhausted.
Way. Damn.
Yeah, it reminds me of the downwind thing, bro. Exhaustion makes cowards of us all.
Yeah.
I heard that, so that's kind of like the fear of the whole downwind, like just being exhausted.
Yeah.
So I just got hooked on it, man, and it changed my life. Jiu-jitsu changed my life. Like, I found acai through jiu-jitsu. Like, I had no idea what acai was until I got into jiu-jitsu.
And how is that? You went to Brazil or?
No, well, part of the whole culture, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu is from Brazil.
Yeah.
So, like, at that time, my instructor, Eduardo Ortiz, he had an academy called Bearing Jiu-Jitsu in a Parque Central, and he would talk about like, we'd go to Brazil, and he would say like the Gracie family, they're the ones that founded Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They would eat these acai bowls in between their training for like energy, and they were like all like vegan. They didn't eat any meat and shit. They ate like, there's a thing called the Gracie diet, and so
Are you vegan?
no, not at all, dude. No. But I love acai. I eat acai every day.
Yeah. I'm not saying you have to be vegan to get acai.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, I found out, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then that contest that I told you about, the kite foil contest, I used to wait tables at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. And actually I was a busboy, and a friend of mine, Marcos from Brazil, he was a waiter, and he had this little wooden kiosk at the kite contest, and he was selling like these purple milk, like smoothies. And I was like, what is that, dude? He's like, it's acai, this superfruit from Brazil. And I was like, oh shit, I remember like they were talking about that at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, da da da. And that's how I got introduced to it. So Jiu-Jitsu for me, like changed my life. I got into shape, stopped smoking, yeah, it's definitely been very beneficial in my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
You should, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly Slater, he has a famous quote, get your kids into jiu-jitsu as their first sport.
That's a quote.
He's from Cocoa Beach, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's a quote.
Nice.
So
That's cool.
jiu-jitsu is a great sport. It gets you in shape if you ever have to defend yourself,
Yeah. If I ever have to grapple somebody, take them down to the floor.
Exactly.
Put my finger up their butt, flip them over.
Exactly. I've never had to do that. Knock on wood.
No, that's good. No, I don't want to fight. But yeah, I should definitely try it. Roy said he was into that as well.
Yeah, dude.
Into
I'm
the
sure
jiu-jitsu.
he was a beast too.
He's
dude.
a big boy too.
Yeah, and athletic. I'm sure he was.
His brother came into the shop today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're both like extremely fit. They're just like
fucking
built.
Texas bred, huh?
Yeah. There's something in the water.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I know that you're really into the surfing thing, which is strange because I wasn't into anything surfing. Never surfed, never gone on a surfboard, never boogie boarded, nothing. And I came from a kite background. And then when I got into foiling, wing foiling, and started to prone, that's really when I learned how to ride a wave. And that addiction of like riding that wave and surfing, that's when it kind of kicked off. Sure, I did kite surfing, and I was riding some waves here and there, but I didn't really know how to ride them. And with a kite, you can just overpower everything, and you're not really surfing. And I thought I was decent at it. And then like getting into the foil and learning how to surf was just a whole different thing. Like just this drawn out lines and the way that you can captivate the energy and how fast you can go. And it's just kind of wild. What was the first surf foiling versus kite foiling? What was the first thing you were doing on a foil then?
So after kite foiling, I got into wing foiling, and I got into that right before COVID lockdown. I actually went to Maui, and with my buddy Art, who lives there, and he.
Have you been going to Maui for?
This is my third. This year, if I go, it'll be my fourth year. So
Okay.
I've gone three summers, and the first summer I went there just to wing foil, and
And you didn't know how, or you were?
I didn't know. I didn't try. I tried it there.
Did Art teach you?
He taught me. I
sick.
did. It took me 5 days over at Kaha Beach, and every day for like 4 hours. I just freaking, until finally I knew what it was like being on foil from
Yeah.
tow foiling and from, kite foiling, but I never,
Oh, so you were tow foiling before you went into the wing.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
cool.
I got into tow foiling first. So I got an idea. I got into that with Mike Vicente. He helped me out with that, with the jet ski and stuff. And at that time they had the duotones with the boon. So that was the wing that I was using. And I learned with Art, came back here, and then lockdown happened. And then Neil's, I bought like his first, like it was like a soap bar, it was just a white square, but it was perfect, dude. And then
His board? Yeah.
it was. And in the lockdown, they had ATVs that would go up and down the beach.
And they couldn't get to Puntas.
Well, no, but the beach was like now it was open.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So I would time it when they would go out, and I would like go out, swim and get on foil. And where the reef line was, that to me was like the sand. So I would sail past the reef line back and forth. And then when I was ready to come back in, I'd like, hopefully the ATV guy won't be, near my area when I come in to land to end my wing session. So
Lucky.
I was like one of the few guys that dared to go out there.
Yeah, what a crazy time.
It was nuts, dude.
And that was a windy summer.
And the waves were like, yeah, I have some good memories from that.
I was locked up in Ocean Park. We were like locked down tight.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, if you went on the street, if you weren't walking your dog or had a grocery bag, they would send you home. It was crazy.
Yeah, Maui was one of the only places where you could go in the ocean. So these guys were scoring, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah.
Oh well. I could talk about that COVID thing and everything for hours because of how it changed our whole water sports industry and why I have 50 kites in the back still. And
It didn't sell.
oh man, it's crazy because during COVID I couldn't I couldn't get my hands on enough gear. When it opened up, we were giving lessons. I had like 4 instructors. I only had one guy that stayed. Everyone left because it was like 3 months and they were painting our house and like odd jobs, but I couldn't pay them. We weren't doing anything. I sold everything I could on eBay during lockdown to the States. I just shipped it, all my used stuff, everything. And then finally everything opened up and everyone was just screaming for Watersports.
Yeah, and there was no equipment too.
Couldn't do anything, right? And then everything was all closed down, so they weren't producing equipment. Most of the companies, because you couldn't. And then everyone was getting into water sports, and I could not get my hands on enough gear. I had never made orders like that, and then waited for stuff, and then stuff started to arrive, and it was gone. And it was incredible. And then we were just ordering like that was the norm, and then eventually it just kind of faded off, and like things were being produced that we didn't get yet, and then all of a sudden it starts to get delivered, and there's just this huge overstock, right?
Yeah.
And then it started to decline, and we're like, damn, I did not know that I wasn't going to sell 200 twin tips, you know?
Is that how many you have left? Or?
No, not now, no. But at one point I was like, I ordered 100 boards, you know, 150 boards, and we were just, it was just, you could not, like, it was crazy during that time. It was pretty awesome for water sports.
Oh yeah.
I was busy, and then then it started all to slow down. I mean, kiting in general right now is like selling kites and harnesses and stuff. It's pretty slow.
You sell more wing stuff than
way more foils. Pretty much.
What about the rentals?
Rentals? I mean, they're okay.
Or like
lessons.
the lessons.
Lessons are okay.
More kiting or more wing lessons?
So more kite lessons.
Okay.
Over wing lessons. I think people are more into actually trying to learn how to wing by themselves.
Yeah.
You know, or friends are helping them out. Or with kiting, you don't do that.
No.
You know, you don't have a friend teach you, or, I mean, they don't want to.
No.
Or they could, but maybe they don't survive, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way. But winging, you know, you've got a big board in the back of your truck or in your yard, and you're like, oh, you can try it. I see it all the time in Ocean Park, just a bunch of friends sharing equipment, and eventually they'll get into it.
Yep.
Because you're not going to hurt anybody. Not likely. You're not going to hurt yourself. Possibly not, right? So with kiting, you really need lessons. So we still have a lot more, and our name is Kite Puerto Rico. It's like you can't.
Yeah, right. You're attached. You're attached by birth.
Yeah, there was no wing foiling when we came here, when we started, right? So yeah, we still do a lot more kite lessons than wing lessons, but we sell a lot more foil gear, a lot more, and not just like winging, but downwind stuff and prone and just whatever, just foils in general just fly away. You know, that's kind of the trend, which is cool because I love it. People called me today for foil advice, and I'm like,
from like out of Puerto Rico, like you shipped. You shipped to Maui and to Billcraft and St. Croix.
Code foils I sell like all over the States.
You're the dealer for them in the U.S.
I mean, I am a U.S. dealer because we're Puerto Rico, so I'm considered U.S., and I consider myself a U.S. dealer. I'm not the only one. There's like maybe 5 other shops, 6.
Okay.
You know, that it's growing.
Sure.
And there's a couple big shops in the States, but I mean, I have tons of people that call me for code, which is great. And I can talk about code foils all day long. I've ridden all of them, and I love them, you know? So, I mean, everybody here that's riding them, they love them, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool that I can actually get on the phone and I can talk about foils, and it's something that's why it's called the X foils too, is because you can talk about these nuances and the gear and how it affected you and how it changed your life, and because you go through different phases of like what you want to do and what gear you're going through. With kiting, it's like, you know, you got a big air kite, you got a surf kite, you got a surfboard, you got a twin tip. I mean, you could ride whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not evolved. It's evolved, stopped, right?
No, I mean, the evolution is still big with kiting, especially now in the last couple of years. It's been really big because the same stuff that they're doing with winging.
The material. Like the Dacron, or what's the?
Alula.
Alula
is the big one, right?
Yeah.
And then North Sails has their N weave, which is a similar, like lighter, stiffer, you know, less rebound, like just all these different materials, sail material that they're going through. So wings, you see it in the wings, all of this evolution of like, I mean, Ocean Rodeo, which now they don't exist. They went out.
Really?
They went out of business. They closed their business side of Ocean Rodeo.
So who makes their wings? Because those
That's
are
it.
full of Lula, no?
Yeah, but they're not making them anymore.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, because I think, well, Ocean Rodeo, they make Alula. Alula is like their.
Oh, that's their material?
It's their material, their
So
company.
they just license it out, huh?
So they license it out, and they're licensing to their competition, right? Duotone buys it. Whatever. All these brands buy it.
Let them do
Slingshot,
the
everybody.
manufacturing, right?
And they're doing all the manufacturing.
Yeah.
They're making all the wings, and then on the other side, they're making sales and stuff out of their own material. And I think they were competing against their own.
Yeah, their own retailers.
Yeah, their own business,
Yeah.
right? So I think, and also it's not the kite industry. I think is, and the wing industry. I think is very small for Alula compared to what camping or outdoors making backpacks or inflatable beds and stuff will be for them, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're
So they
expanding.
have like the
make,
patent for that material for anything.
yeah,
Wow.
and they're using it to make stuff for space and
That's amazing.
and crazy stuff because it's just such a special material. So all of this material is also being influenced, of course, it's going into the kite industry, which is hand in hand. The guys that are making wings are making kites, most of them, these brands. And then there's
Yeah.
other brands that are only making wings. But those brands that do winging and kiting, yeah, it's having a huge influence. And you have these very high-end, crazy, big air, lightweight, like full-on, like heavy, like this heavy construction Alula kites that are changing the way that kite flies, you know, and changing.
Is it just
where
as
the sport's
expensive at the
going.
wings? Like I haven't gotten into it because of like, just didn't want to spend $2,500 on like a 6-meter wing or a 5-meter wing. Is it the kites are just
Oh,
as
yeah.
expensive?
Yeah.
Probably more material,
yeah,
right?
you buy an Alula kite, I think it's $3,800,
Yeah.
right? So that's where like winging also like that Ocean Rodeo I was saying they had this like full Alula wing. It was like $3,500. It's crazy.
Did it sell? Did people like?
I mean, I've seen a couple here. People were buying
Were
it.
the people that were riding were like, oh, this is like the difference is night and day.
I assume so. I assume it's much better. But when you're foiling,
It's kind of like Mike Slap.
yeah,
Like for me, I think for winging, I've only like so once I got a hold of the Mike Slab, I have the 800. I've tried the code foils, lift, F1, and for me it's just like they're the best for winging. I've tried to tow the Mike Slab, and for some reason it's just too much lift. I've never downwinded. I know Mickey downwinds them, and a lot of people in
Yeah.
Maui downwind them, but
Yeah,
for
we-
me that's like the best foil.
yeah. We
in
were
the market.
downwinding yesterday. He's on an 1100
Yeah.
Mike's Lab.
Yeah.
I'm on a 750, like North Foil. It's their new downwind, like a prototype.
Yeah, so you're more versatile. You're
a little
surfing
bit,
it
but
more.
you'd think it would be faster, which it is, right? It's I think in a straight line, if we were going head to head, I was getting on a top end. I'm getting a lot more speed,
Really?
but he's just hanging out with me the whole time. Low
Real
end, top
effortless,
end,
right?
yeah. And he's
Yeah.
on such a big foil, but it's so fast and efficient. It's crazy that the amount of range that foil has, and it must be an early one, like an early version one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's one of the new ones. But yeah, I mean,
And he goes to all foils, so the fact that he's going back to that, what does that tell you? I always heard that like
because he's lazy.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, because it's like it's his cheater like lazy foil.
He
Like, if
knows that it works.
He knows it'll work. He knows if it's gonna be crap. It's it's gonna go and it can handle kind of a variety of conditions. Just like for me, that 860R, that code, that's my safe foil. Like
Really?
I know that I can get up on that thing. I'm like 68 kilo. So if I can get that thing up on foil, I am not coming off. Like that thing just goes and it's so efficient. It can go slow. It can go fast. Like if it's a big day, I can take it. If it's a small day, I can take it. So I think that's just his. He's like,
I'm
I don't-
interested to try it in Hood River this summer and in Maui. When I was doing the 150X in Maui. Hood River, I had still the Takuma 1440. The last day I got to do a Rufus run, which I don't think you guys got to do.
No, I never got
and
to do
that. You saw that thing I posted on Jack.
Yeah, it's
That's
insane.
to me like there's Kihei on the south end of Maui and Rufus. I think Rufus is like the best as far as like what you commented. It's just like toe foiling, but on a sub like.
Yeah. I saw him like turn up the wave and then like do a turn and like bomb down it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
That's not a swell. That is like a wave. That looks like an 8-footer.
Yeah, dude,
right.
that place is. I got it one day, like at the last minute before it freaking died, And it just like, it left that imprint where I was like, okay, I want to go back there. And I tried the 150X and I was able to do it. So I'm wondering how, like for me, how the 860R, I'm thinking maybe that's going to be too big for Maui or Hood River.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it gets up a lot earlier than the 150X. It's a lot more stable. I think it's got a better low end.
Okay.
The glide, man, it's got to glide way better than that 150, but I don't know if it's as fast.
Okay.
Like I think the 150X is probably faster.
You think so?
Lift foils are fast. They're made to go fast. But I haven't tried them head to head. I tried them head to head against the 980S.
Okay.
To the 150 because they're very comparable. It's
I think the 150 is faster there for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But the 980 is just more user friendly for pumping.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm using for proning, and I love it, dude.
The 980.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah.
How often do you go proning? Because is that something new to you?
It is something new. I saw you guys getting. I don't know why. Just like, I think for me, like the mental thing of like, not that I necessarily care what people think, like going through that kook phase or whatever.
Yeah.
But just like the comfortability that, okay, I'm doing something that I already know how to do. And I think that's why for so many years I was like, I stayed sup surfing versus like, okay, just start, getting a regular surfboard. Like I didn't want to go through that learning curve. And so the same thing happened with prone. I was like, I'd rather just go out and tow foil. I really don't want to like deal with the crowd. Like I heard you saying that, like, and that's the thing too, right? Especially with foiling. Like I've been on a subfoil at Wilderness.
Yeah.
Where like back in the day before like the downwind scene started, and there were some times where I was like, dude, like you almost hit that guy, and it was like,
shit.
so ever since then I'm like, I try to stay away from. That's why I love tow foiling, because you're out there most of the time by yourselves. You can do what you want. But I don't know. I just started doing it. Ronan got me into it, and I was like, you know what? He doesn't stop too, dude. He'll text me every morning, and I flaked on him probably like 100 times, and he still freaking texts me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go do it, dude. And this winter, since I got into prone surfing, I think that like really helped me out. And when I've only done it twice, dude, the prone foil, and I'm already like getting up and like pumping and riding like I foil when I tow.
Yeah.
So I'm hooked on it. I bought that new lift board, so I'm excited to try that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, summertime, it's pretty flat.
Yeah, I texted you the other day. I'm like, fuck, when am I gonna use
today.
this? Yeah. Anyway.
You're like, can I surf La Ocho today? And I looked at the cam. I was like, ooh.
So is that it? There's no prone foiling in the summer? Is that like
It's pretty flat. You're gonna have to come to Dorado.
Go you, right?
Yeah, come to Dorado with us.
Okay.
It's epic.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they were surfing there this morning. And they said it was great.
Right?
Yeah. And then
It's like a 40-minute drive.
Well, to get there in the morning, if you go early, it's, I don't know, 30 minutes.
Okay.
To drive back, it's like an hour
Okay.
because of traffic.
Yeah.
You got to wait until, actually, there's no school now because it's summer. So
Yeah,
I think a lot of the traffic in Dorado, like coming out and coming back, is lot of it is school.
Yeah.
Part of it is, and then everybody going to work, coming into San Juan. Like if you go after like 8, I've waited till like 8:20, which I don't love to do. I'd love to like get out and in.
Does it get blown out over there? Like, is the wind protected?
A little bit, but like 8 o'clock, it's still not really that
It's
windy.
still- yeah.
It would be rare. It'd
Okay.
be windy. There'd be maybe like an offshore breeze, which is fine.
So what I saw today, like where I live, I can have a front view of Waimea. That's kind of like my indication. Like, okay, if there's a little whitewater at Waimea.
Well, yesterday there was a little bit of swell in the water.
Yeah.
Like Caballos, there was some breaks at Caballos.
Today too.
We were paddling out and just all of a sudden this like right in the middle section,
Yeah.
there was this wave. And
So
it
if you see that,
grabbed
go
Mickey.
you is good.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Go use typically always good.
La Ocho is very like tide dependent.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you don't want to be on the low tide there, huh?
Oh, you'll bang up your foil.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. I was looking through my North foils today, the stuff that I surf with, and I was selling some stuff, some used stuff, and I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, this one's for sale. And it was like, oh man.
Yeah.
He's like, I want that one. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, I'll buff it out. I was like, that's my La Ocho foil.
I gotta go check out Goyu with you guys, man. I think I'm gonna do that this summer.
Have you done it?
Never.
Never?
I've never.
Because there's a bunch of guys doing like sup surfing there. That's all it is.
I wonder if
sup
it's
surfers.
what it's called, Las Pasas. Because based on like where the
Maybe.
location is, I remember I used to go there. Is it a left or it breaks both ways? Okay. It's a long
Prized.
paddle out too, huh? You were saying
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Not bad. If you're on a sup foil,
Yeah, it's easy.
It's fast. If you're on a foil drive, it's like a minute.
I'm almost like my ego won't let me, dude. I'm
I
like,
know.
you know, and I don't know, you know, I'm 45 already, dude, and I'm kind of like,
Yeah, you're at the foil drive age.
yeah, right.
You're the prime time.
Yeah.
You're their like #1 customer.
I thought about it today when I was
thought
out there
about it
suffering.
today.
I was like, dude, I bet you if you were on this foil drive, you would have been at like Lawich already.
Yeah, I honestly didn't really want to like it.
Yeah.
I didn't. And
Does it make it heavier?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I
feel
mean,
heavier, right?
We've got a battery. Like
Yeah.
it's this heavy battery. I'll show you. We've got them over here. You like pick it up.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I don't know. It's right underneath your board. For sure you feel it. So when I'm surfing and stuff, I'm not like, I'm not as
Yeah.
aggressive. The turns aren't as sharp. And you got to kind of, that weight also like propels you. That gives you some extra juice and speed
Yeah.
when you're on the wave,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. But the amount of practice and wave time I get when I'm surfing, like prone, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to try it.
There's days that I want to go and I want to prone because your board's lighter and you're paddling. There's exercise. I like it. I like the whole exercise part of it. But I got so much stuff to do that I
just wanna ride waves.
I realize that I want to go in there and I want to catch 40 waves.
Yeah.
And I can do that with that foil drive. And over there, no one's bothered by it. There's nobody in the lineup. It's just us and a couple sup surfers.
Yeah.
And they're all awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I started surfing there for the first time, prone foiling, and those guys were there. They watched me grow up into this
Yeah.
foiling world, and then now they're like, now you've got a motor. You're like going backwards. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
I don't know if I want to cross the dark side just yet. I think.
Drink the juice.
Yeah, the secret juice.
Drink the juice.
Not yet, dude.
No. Well, yeah. Eventually, it's gonna come, and I like its application. I don't like to blow it up a lot, especially on the pod.
Yeah.
We talk about it, but it's just
There are some dudes in Maui that were using it on prone boards, going downwind.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
no paddle, just boom, boom, and then go do it.
I've never done it yet, but I definitely want to do it. Like something like this.
Yeah.
Like a 70 liter, 20 inches or something. You put a foil drive on it. You go out for a quick run. You foil drive up, and then, once I'm on foil, I don't come off foil.
Yeah.
So all I need to do is get up once. Once I get up once, and then I think it could be fun a couple times to do it because then I could be like really aggressive and really charge it and like surf as hard as you want. You fall and then you just motor
Yeah.
up. But honestly, that's what I'm feeling like now. And when I go on these downwind runs, that once you're out there, and I'm really good at going out because it's like it's into my face when I'm heading out. It's like my front side.
Okay.
And I'm able to just I'm able to go out and out and out, and I can have the wind in my face.
You're regular, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Same
And
with me.
And I can just go out and out and out. Like,
You just pump and ride the back pump.
yeah, pump, ride the back, and I just peel off and I ride, and I peel off and I ride, and the wind would be in my face, and I can just keep going out and out. So for me, I have no issue getting out there. And once
Yeah.
I'm out there and I'm on the run and I fall, sometimes I'm worried about falling, and sometimes I'll fall, and then I realize that it's nothing to get up.
With the foil drive.
No, with the paddle. Like
Oh,
now,
really?
now just downwinding. I've never done the downwinder with the foil drive
Oh,
yet.
okay.
But I'm just saying that,
You can get up really easily.
yeah, now I'm being a little bit more aggressive because I don't feel like the pop-up is such an issue. Like my paddle is a lot better. I understand where my foil should be. I'm still testing a lot of stuff, and sometimes
Yeah.
that can be a disaster.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Going on a
I
run.
had the 860 all the way forward today.
Oh, on your KT?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's far forward.
Yeah.
I ride with it a lot more back than that.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like my footing and like, it was. I'm gonna try it again though. Yeah.
You can slam on your front foot. You're used to it, towing big waves.
Yeah, yeah.
Just fucking lean forward, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
hold
Yeah.
it down. But it can be hard to paddle up. I like the feeling of it being really far forward. Like when I'm winging, I put it really far forward because I like, standing on the front of my board. It's like there's no board in front of me. I've got like that much board behind me and then this much board in front of me. Like I'm standing all the way forward, and I like it, and it's easy to get up on foil. But paddling it like on a sup, sometimes it feels like I'm going uphill, and then you're going to the drop and you've got to lean forward. It's really crucial, and I can't put my foil as far forward as I want it to be sometimes because I have a hard time paddling it up, which would, you'd think it's
backwards,
it's
right?
backwards, like it would pop up earlier.
Yeah.
But I don't have that sensation that I'm like
What do you think
getting up on
helped you
foil
to
easier.
be able to get up out? Like, I'm still in the phase where
Watching Mickey.
Really?
Yeah.
He's really good at getting up
Oh
right
my
away.
God. Mickey can pop up on anything.
Yeah, he does a lot of the flat water pop-ups too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what? Okay, watching him, you watch him. What does that teach you? Like, how do you?
Have you ever been to El Perro?
I've
You've
been.
went a
That's when
couple
I
times.
started, dude. When we
Yeah.
got those red.
Yeah, those access
I'm the one that
boards.
told you and called you and said you need to talk to this guy, Mickey.
Yeah.
I'm the one that made the introduction, dude.
Yeah, we went.
Yeah,
Our
and
first time
with
together, we
Arlen and
went.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
So
And I've spent a bunch of days there, like a lot.
yeah,
I kept on going back, and when the wind's not great or there's a little bit of, Mickey knows when it's going to be good there, and Mickey's there.
Yeah,
Randy's there.
yeah, he still does it too,
Yeah.
dude.
And
Yeah.
so I was just sitting there one day, and I'm always trying to put down a lot of power. You know, I'm trying to like boom, boom, and paddle really hard to get speed and go. And it's really a lot more finesse than that, right? And I'm always looking backwards, right? I'm always looking to see what waves are coming and what waves are coming. And I realize now that I'm
Look forward to the
because
back
I'm
of the wave in front
because
of you.
I'm doing that, I'm not like feeling out where my board is and where I feel this, like when you feel that you know that your board is going backwards for a
Yeah,
second,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like,
This is a spot.
that's where you want to start paddling. And I was missing that because I was always looking at what was coming, and I see a big one coming, I'd see it and I'm like, okay, wait for the big one to pass, and then I might have missed my moment, and I'm also, you know, twisted up or whatever, and then I was trying to like, you know, paddle really hard. And what Mickey does is just like, he waits for that moment where you feel like you're sucking back and you're behind that swell. And then the next one behind you is picking you up and pushing you down. And he's like, as it's starting to do that, he's like 5 or 6, like very quick, short paddles to get like this momentum and kind of like your kind of rhythm in.
Yeah.
And then he puts in some hard strokes and the last little like bounces on the board, and then boop, he's up and away.
Wow.
And I've been really focused on that recently, like really trying to feel where that energy is. When you feel yourself sucking up, putting my paddle in, doing like quick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, and pop up and push on my board and gone. And that's
Yeah.
it. And so now I'm not so worried about popping up in the middle so you can make some more crucial turns and play around a little bit more. And
When you pop up, do you like? I have a tendency. I'm also regular to like start pumping towards the right. Like I veer off the right. Like if I want to go out to the wind line.
yeah.
And
yeah,
sometimes
I
I
have
kook
that
out
issue.
and fucking fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
something
when
I'm dealing with too.
When I focus, and that used to happen to me a lot more often as well, because I'm looking back. So I'm looking back over my right shoulder. I'm waiting for the wave to come. And then I'm starting to paddle, and I'm like already pushed in this orientation to the right. And then I'm paddling, and I'm like pushing off to the right, and I'm paddling up, and the swell would pass me, and I'd try to pump as hard as I could, and I'm going off to the right to
Yeah.
get the bump behind it, and I'm losing momentum, and then you lose your cadence, and then you fall. And then the wind hits you in the face, and then you fall over,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
So you got to wait for it, turn a little bit more,
And then here the ocean swell is more north,
a little bit.
right? So
Was
it's
it
kinda-
today?
I always feel like I'm always trying to like pump out to get out to the wind line.
Yeah.
And today I overdid it. Next thing you know, like, oh shit, I'm way too far out, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not as good on my backside going left, which is funny. In Maui, when you get to do the Kehi run in the south, like it's just fucking macking lefts, dude. And you know, I'm still not as
Yeah.
good, you know, going backside on it, you know? So I can't wait for you to experience that, dude.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there for 2 weeks. I've got we're going with the whole family. We booked this ticket. My wife was still pregnant. She was due.
You guys got a house too?
Yeah, we booked a house, but we booked it. We're like, we're going to book it, and we're going to pay for the housing. We're going to pay for our tickets. Like, we just got to book it. And
That's
Char-
what I need to do. Just
do it. And we
Yeah.
did it, and she's still pregnant, and she was due June 17th, and we're flying out like end of July, so it's like, it's very short to have like a baby 1 month old, heading into the plane, going on a family trip to Maui.
That's a long ride. That's a couple plane changes.
Yeah. So she gave birth on Saturday, right?
Congrats, dude.
Baby boy Nalu.
Nalu, sick name.
Yeah. So I got Kailea, Nalu. I mean, their birthright is to go to Maui.
Hell yeah,
We're
dude.
going.
Hell yeah.
So now he's early. He's all good. And we got like almost less than 2 months to, feed him a bunch of milk and bulk him up. And
So he can handle that plane ride.
yeah, I mean,
That's gonna be sick, dude.
Babies just sleep.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not worried about that. They're just
No.
like, they're out.
That's great.
That's all they do. So yeah, I'm super stoked on that trip, and I'm gonna miss Hood River this year, because that's
I'm trying
that's
to do
a lot
both.
of fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to, and from there to Maui is this direct 5-hour flight.
I know.
So it's kind of like the perfect little setup,
Yeah,
I'm trying to do both.
living the dream.
Yeah.
Just living that Acai Express dream.
Well, worked hard for it,
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
I follow you on Instagram, and you're always like, you're all about the hustle,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and
I like it, dude. It's, it keeps, I don't know how to just
I
stay
mean,
still.
what
You're a
else?
fucking hustler, dude. Like, I see what you do, and I'm like, oh, this guy fucking has a lot of energy.
yeah, well, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm selling things for small margins at low quantities. so,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I just got to keep going and keep the gear flowing and keep the business running and instructors fed, and I mean, it's a lifestyle, right?
100%.
Like, if I wanted to be rich and famous, I'd start a podcast. I'm kidding.
Maybe it will happen for you.
I'd be in a different life for sure. I mean, this life chose me, and I get a lot of water time. I definitely can't complain. And everyone goes through ups and downs, right? There's
Yeah.
this whole like, what is the meaning of life? And it's to be on a foil. Let's hope.
Yeah, hopefully I'll stick to it, man. I went out there today, and I was like, dude, you need to it's nothing like just like starting with people and then like stopping and then seeing them pass you by. And it's kind of, not that I'm doing it for that reason, but it's like, dude, if you would have stuck to it, you'd be out there doing like what I'm seeing is impressive. You guys are doing like 20 miles here in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Like, never would have thought of people doing that here, Like, the conditions here suck. Like, you guys are doing 20 miles in like an hour and a half. Like, crazy,
Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised. I think it's good.
It is, right?
It's gotta
I
be.
think
I mean,
the
I
wind
haven't-
here is more consistent as far as like not as gusty as Maui. Like, it's just always, and the swell too. Like over
Yeah.
there, I don't know. When I came back from Maui, I was like, dude, the wind here is actually a little like cleaner. I guess that's the word I would use.
Yeah, I mean, summertime is great.
Yeah.
Like now, it happened last year when KT came out with their Dragonfly. There was this whole rush. I guess we were getting into it, so it felt like a rush of like all this downwind. And I ordered a bunch of boards, and I was like, oh man, I ordered too many.
Did you
and
sell them all?
I sold them all. And I had to order more, and I was like, damn, like
Sold
there's-
them in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico, didn't ship any out actually off the island. And now I have a great like AA cargo. It was like $100 or something to ship a board to mainland.
Wow.
A down 8 foot. Like
Wow, that's
it's
really
nothing,
good. Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
But anyway, I sold all of those boards, and then throughout the whole winter, it's just nothing. I was like, damn. I'm glad I didn't order more downwind boards because no one's asking. There's no inquiries. There's nothing. But the wintertime here is pretty intense. Like we get
Waves.
a lot of swell and waves, and we're like, I can't wait for winter, right? I can't wait for winter. Like all this big energy and this.
Do you
it's
prefer
too much.
like the energy on the windy days for downwinding versus like what you're seeing now in the summer? Like, what do you prefer?
Oh, the summer.
Really?
So much cleaner. It's also.
You don't think it's easier though to like get bigger swell that you can like?
I mean, there's days where, yeah, we can do faster runs and the waves are bigger and you're on this energy, which is like, it feels a little bit more wild. But
That's what I liked with the little bit that I got to experience in Maui.
Yeah.
And
But-
Rufus that day.
But man, to get out past the reefs here, to get into the reefs, you can't.
Coming in,
Yeah, like
I've
I
gotten
can't
worse.
do a caballo, like to go out to Caballos and do a Caballos to La Ocho run. To go out Caballos,
You gotta go
You
around
got to
the
go
channel.
out around into
Yeah.
the channel, and you're watching these like 6-7 foot waves break beside you, and you're like, whoa! And then you get out there, and it's like wild, and you get up, and it's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it's really good. And
Yeah.
you got these big swells, and
Yeah.
you're like
You're
Mach
surfing.
10, and you're
Yeah.
surfing up and down the faces, and it's not very crucial. And unless you get in trouble, then the water out there, it's like, it's a
Yeah.
lot, you
Yeah.
know? So you've to learn. So there's two different things, right? To learn,
Summer.
oh my God, summer.
Yeah.
Like once you know how to downwind, you can handle those conditions because it could be very intimidating to be out there. But But then, like, there's no way you come in La Ocho. You just get, I've come in through these reef spots, and like Go You and La Ocho, and you just get smashed by these waves.
What about coming in through like pressure point, like in between Sunset and La Ocho, right there from El Perro?
And then go into El Perro.
Yeah, which is still sketchy, but
it gets really weird in there.
Yeah.
Really weird. Like the energy
or
is all
El
like.
Morro. You guys are so good. You could just go in through El Morro. Boop.
That's the run.
Yeah.
Like when it's
Yeah.
big and there's all the reefs are blown up.
Yeah.
You go in through the channel there, and then to Cabras through the inside, and
Yeah.
that's
I
perfect.
still haven't done that, like Cabras to Salinas run. And I
No?
saw the debate you guys had today, like, oh, it's better at Caballos. No, it's better, you know, like.
I was just like, I've done that run
Yeah.
so many times, and I find it so much easier to get up on foil in Caballos.
Really?
So much easier. Cabras, sometimes I'm 20 minutes.
Because it's flat.
Just because it's just, the energy's not good unless you go you gotta get way out there. In
How
Caballos, I
long
don't
do
feel
you
it.
guys, does it, I usually time my watch 15 minutes from the bridge paddling out to the Caballos line. Like, do you have some sort of indicator you use, or you just kind of,
No.
okay, this looks good, let's go downwind?
Yeah.
What
yeah.
is it like in Cabras? It's not as far. You don't have to go out as far as that,
It's
right?
not as far, but you want to go far. You want to keep going out there, and I think it's possible that we don't go out far enough to get where the energy is good, and
Yeah.
it's kind of pushing and wrapping around that rock, and it's a little bit northerly, and I don't know. I've had a lot more success in my Caballos runs. Maybe it just feels more close to home because I
Yeah.
go out there all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's
For
my
me,
home
it's
run.
for me, it's perfect, dude. I drive my car to the marina. I paddle out there. I do a downwinder to my house. I take an Uber back to my car.
Yeah.
In and out in an hour.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's super fun. I like getting in and getting in your car is nice.
Yeah.
Like going to La Ocho is perfect, dude. You go
Yeah.
there, there's like 8 taxis lined up all the time.
Oh, really? With your board and
Always.
everything?
Yeah, they're big vans. They're these
Wow.
big Chevy vans. You wave them down, you throw all your gear into the van, leave your cars in La Ocho at the parking lot with the security.
And he takes
You
you,
know?
to Cangrejos.
Takes you to Cangrejos, you unload, gear up, and go. And it's like $30 for the taxi ride. It's 3 of us. It's $10 a person. You do your downwind run, boom, you're at your car, you go home.
And they have showers.
Yeah, and they have a shower right there, which is pretty sick. So
That is sick, dude.
yeah, so summertime to learn, and that's what I was saying is that I was like, whoa, that's kind of weird that all of a sudden there's this craze again, like all the downwind boards are coming in again. There's this new releases, and I'm ordering downwind boards. I don't have enough. You know, people want downwind boards. I just can't get my hands on enough of
Really?
them right now, and just my fault. I didn't pre-order enough.
Who do you think that the best shapers right now are for like I'm really interested to try Dave Kalama's new shape that I saw that he came out with.
I mean, I haven't really paid attention that much to that one. The new one does
Yeah.
look really nice.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. They're all
Pretty
becoming
close, huh?
really good.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm
Like to really get you out of the water, it's more on the tail design, right? Like
you'd think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I wish I knew.
Yeah.
They're changing it all the time. And like that board that I have from Walt that I tried for the first time yesterday.
The Barracuda.
No, it's the Mark's board.
Oh, okay, yeah, Raphurst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is getting boards like boards from Frank and
Yeah,
Maui.
he works with Mark.
Yeah. And then, you know, all these boards are really good. Like these new North boards that came out that I like.
That's what I usually see you riding.
I went through all these phases of all their prototypes and like testing them and trying to be like, I'm like, I feel drag here or there. And like, it's hard to iterate, like to wrap your head around what feels really good in a board. And it could be that you just have a bad session too.
Yeah, right.
You know, so it's really tough.
And then once you're on foil, like, does the board really make that
Yeah.
difference? It does, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Like that board from Walt, it's really fat. I don't know how thick it is, but it's got to be 6 something inches.
Yeah, I have one. I have
Yeah.
one made by Mark
And-
Raphurst.
And I could get up on foil really easy. I did 2 runs yesterday on it. I could get up really easy. I was on my 750. Energy wasn't amazing, but I was on a small foil. And when I was up on foil, I just felt it like a little bit chunky. You know?
Really?
Yeah, I felt like I could feel that mass underneath me, between me and the foil, that I felt like I didn't feel. It's a great board. It's really stiff.
Yeah.
Right? Also, it's hard to tell because I'm never on like an 8-footer. I'm on like a 7.5 or a 7.4, so it felt a little bit longer. And I was just testing it out, but it did feel a little bit more chunky.
That's an 8-footer, the one that he has?
This is like, I think it's 710. Yeah,
Okay.
710, pretty close.
Okay.
19 wide. My Northboard's 7.5 by 18,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah.
And their 710 is 18.5, right? It's 105 liters. That's 115, 112, something
Yeah.
like that. So it felt totally different. I much prefer to be on foil on my small board, on
Sure.
that North. It's like, it feels like I can whip it around, and I like the way that it responds. It feels more, like
Yeah.
whippy snappy.
Yeah.
So it felt a little bit more chunky, but to get up on foil was really nice, which is really an important part of it.
So I want you to
paddle
try.
it
I
up.
have I bought a custom board from Mark, and I told him I want to be comfortable. So I asked 20 liters or 20 wide,
Okay.
120 liters in
Wow.
flotation.
It's a big boy.
Yeah, but it's 7.6, so it's a little shorter.
Huh?
And I took it out to surf it at Punta, and I've never felt so connected to the foil. Just super.
It's because of the length of it.
I think so. In the beginning, I almost like over paddled it. Like even trying to get out to the reef, I was like, oh, I'm going too much left. Oh, I'm going too much right. It took me a little while to really, balance it out.
Yeah,
but I've only done like 2 downwind runs on it with the Lift 180X. And I think now with the little taste that I got of that 860, I think with that board, I might be cruising,
Yeah, it's the length. It's like that swing weight in front of you is just, it's not as like.
Yeah.
Not
But I
as
felt
crazy.
like much more solid and connected to the foil than I did with the other board that I've tried. So I want someone like you or Mickey or Roy to try it and tell me what they think.
Yeah, Mickey. Actually, Mickey's too light.
You think
Dude,
so?
His boards are so small and light. He's
Yeah.
like, pop, pop. He's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know. He's not
They're
that.
like, oh, this is a
He's
Mack
not
truck.
that. He's not that small, but like he took out that 9-foot KT board that's been traded around by all of us.
Yes,
that
the
you
board
had.
that I bought. Yeah, it
Yes.
was made custom for me.
Yes,
I
that
fucking traded it
footer.
for a Fanatics wing foil board.
Yeah, bad trade.
It was a bad trade. Fucker. Did he sell that or did he just
He traded it also.
Oh,
It's
okay.
been traded around.
Yeah, I
you
see
know?
Randy's using it now.
Yeah, so Randy had it initially. Randy then traded it. So Mickey got it, right? Mickey did not like it at all. He
No.
said, throw that thing in the garbage.
Yeah.
He's just he's used to his like little boards,
For me, the
And
18
he's-
wide was a problem. Like I couldn't barely balance on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so then you gave it to Mickey. Mickey traded it to
Gio.
No, to Randy. Randy traded it to Gio.
And I saw Gio doing a bunch of runs on
Yeah.
it. He's even did a flat water pop up on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I
Big board.
see Randy using it
Now
again.
traded it back to Randy, I think, because I saw Randy put his stickers on it. So I'm like, well, it must be Randy's board now. He didn't. He tried to trade it to me. I almost traded it to him for an 8-footer I had. Someone bought the 8-footer, so I shipped it out. I'm like, sorry.
Maybe I should trade and get back into it, huh?
It's a good board. It's 125 liters. It's
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
9 foot by 18.
I used it once.
It's great.
And
it's
I
fast.
Yeah, I used it once in I did Hukipa to Sugar Cove, and it was like I fucking could barely stand on that thing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd get used to it. That narrowness, you get used to it. I like it on my North board. It's more stable than boards that are wider. I think you'd be pretty impressed with it. But yeah, being that narrow, it's so awesome. You take off so quick. I don't know. It just feels different.
Yeah.
20 wide, that board that you've got, that's pretty wide.
Yeah, it is. I want to try to get a board that will get me out of the water, like any assistance with that, without having to buy a full drive.
Yes.
Once I'm on foot, I can take it from there,
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's what I'm looking for.
And what's your foil discipline? Because you haven't been so focused on downwinding, it's because you've got too many sports that you've got to do, right? But you've been more focused on surfing.
Yeah, surfing.
Doing step-offs.
Step-offs.
That's like a foil drive galore, like right there.
Yeah, you're right. It's cheating. But your surfing improves. Like you don't realize how hard paddling is until you go and actual paddle caballos.
Yeah.
And it takes you 15 minutes to go around the channel.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit! Like you don't realize it when you go to wilderness. But
Yeah.
yeah, if I had to choose for foiling,
That's the biggest juice ever, having a jet ski guy drop you off in the pit.
yeah, dude, it's addictive. I'd rather do that, to be honest. Like if I had to pick one thing, I would probably pick step offs on like an 8 to 10 foot day at Caballos Glass with like no one there.
Yeah.
That would probably be my first pick, and then if not, probably, you know, a 25 to 30 knot day at either Rufus at the Hood River or at Kihei in south of Maui.
Downwind.
Downwinding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tow foiling used to be like, I still love it, but not as much
You
anymore,
guys were
dude.
fiends.
Yeah.
Every day, you and Ren,
I
no
love
matter
it, dude.
what.
Yes. I was stoked that I found someone that was like willing to go.
Yeah, we passed you guys by all the time saying nope, and you guys were like, yep.
I loved it, dude. Until I got hurt really bad. I almost broke my neck, dude.
Oh, that's right. You had
Yeah.
like some whiplash, like
Yeah,
crazy.
It was scary. My whole body went numb. I was, you know, I still don't feel my thumb. I have never got like full recovery on my
Really?
thumb. Yeah, it was bad, dude. I have 2 herniated discs, a C5 and a C6. So ever since that experience, I was like, you know what? You don't really need to be going 30, you know, that fast on an 8-foot way.
30 miles an hour
like
down a face.
Yeah, so ever since then, I was like, you know what? Let me start doing the step-offs and surfing. And that's really what turned me into that. And then now I only like to do, you know, tow foiling when it's like 4 feet, 5 foot at the most.
Yeah.
You know, and I prefer, even though Caballos is sick, like I see you guys going, but I prefer like just cruising and carving and just riding
it's
the
the
ocean.
same. I don't like towing. Like I'm over towing those big waves.
Yeah.
But the problem is that really it's the only thing you can do. You know, like when it's really big like that, you can't do anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go winging on the inside in the flats, but you can't wing the waves.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can do step offs. You could surf, right?
Yeah.
But if we don't surf and we want to stay on a foil, that's the only thing you can do.
I got to try that 620 you sold me. Is that what it was? The 620? The
615.
Is there 720 and then the one below that is
615.
Yeah. I tried it on a 4-foot day and I didn't like it at all. And I called you and you're like, oh, you got to put the medium fuse, this tail.
Yeah.
It's fuck the 720. I'll never ride that thing again. I was like, okay, I got to wait for the right day. Because when I tried it, I was like, dude, this thing.
You're like, it felt slower. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's not possible.
Yeah. I got to try it, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, all this stuff, man, changing all your, I mean, you're the worst at buying gear.
I got a little impulse. I'm a little impulsive. You know, like I want it all and shit, you know?
Which is great for a surf shop, you know?
Yeah. I bought, like, when we went to Hood River, I already had a board. I bought a board
Dude,
there.
you had 3 downwind boards at one point. Like,
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yep. I have a Kalama board waiting for me. I left it at Art's house in Maui.
Yeah.
And when I went to his shop, and it's an 8.0,
Yeah.
which I love, but it's a production board, the old
that
version.
blue one,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's waiting for me at Art's. He had a custom-made board that, like, the guy, like, didn't want to buy. And at that time,
That was that 9-footer?
no,
No,
the
no,
9-footer was KT. I had that made for me before I got there. Like, I'm going to Maui, boom, 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 like, set it all
But then
up.
you bought a 8.2 KT in Hood before going to Maui.
Yeah, because I saw you guys going at fucking, what was the name of the shop there in Hood River?
Big Wins.
Big Wins. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I can't let these, you know, I wanted to be part of the fun. You know, you got to buy something too.
We brought
so.
those boards from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
a couple of guys went to Big Wins and got them as well.
I don't regret it. Actually, that KT board's the one I'm using here.
That's the one you used yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or today. I used today.
Oh, today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time flies.
Yeah. But, yeah, I definitely bought some boards, but I'm going to continue to do it, dude. I don't care, you know. If
Okay.
not, I, you know, let someone else use them.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to buy foils than watches.
How do you know about the watch thing? Did I tell you about that or?
What, your watch addiction?
Yeah.
Oh no, I do my research before people come in here.
Oh, right on.
No, it's
Yeah.
you post some stuff on Instagram here
Yeah,
and there, and
yeah.
I'm like, well, you gotta.
That's
That's
another level of addiction, dude.
yeah, that's
That's real money over there.
Yeah.
Like I'm minor.
in the foils.
Yeah.
Yeah, watches. That's rough.
Yeah. I love it though, dude. It's just the relationships you make, you know, like
Yeah.
foiling, you meet all these people everywhere you go. Like one thing, jiu-jitsu, like anywhere that I went in the world in the U.S., I'd stop into a jiu-jitsu and you immediately like connect to a brotherhood of people, right?
Yep.
So the watch thing is also similar like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's what I tell people when they come into the shop and they're not sure if they want to learn how to kite, or they're not sure they want to learn how to wing or whatever, and they're like, well, I don't know, like how cool is this sport or not? I'm like, yeah, the sport's cool, but on my Instagram you'll see kiteboarding's not a sport, it's a lifestyle, or it's not an activity, it's a lifestyle. And I always tell people, they're like, yeah, I want to kite today. I'm like, yeah, I could take you out to learn how to kite today, but it's not an activity. You're not
No.
just gonna kite today. You're gonna
It's your life.
kite,
Yeah.
and then it changes your life. It is a
100%.
lifestyle, and all of these things are a lifestyle. And when you get into these kind of sports, foiling, kiting, surfing, but man, you go anywhere in the world.
Hell yeah, it is, dude. You
Yeah.
connect with people for sure.
You go anywhere in the world, and you you show up with your surfboard, you show up with your kite gear, you show up with your downwind board, and boom,
You're connected.
you're on the in.
That's right.
You know,
You're connected to a
I
community.
have no idea. I think about it all the time when I see people in their cars driving on the highway. I'm like, where are these people going if they're not going to go surfing?
I don't think I would live in Puerto Rico if it wasn't for the ocean.
I'm like, where are you going? Like, what are you doing? Like, I have these moments of like, what is life if you're not like heading to the ocean right now and doing these sports?
I couldn't like fathom a life, especially
going,
here in Puerto Rico. Like
even going on vacation, you know, like we go to do these sports and you really like, I don't know, if I go hang out in a bar and meet some people that are drinking, like-minded drinkers.
Yeah.
You go and
I mean, I like to do like cultural stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you go to Europe and shit and you know, eat new food and see the architecture and stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing like when you go to Maui or Hood River and you're involved
immerse yourself
or
in
you
this.
snowboard in the winters. Like,
yeah.
for sure, dude.
So it's a lifestyle, and yeah, you surround yourself with these like-minded people, like all of you guys are, you know, this whole community that we have.
You know, one of the things that I'm really impressed with, like, you know, being able to like see the podcast that you've been doing.
Yeah.
Like you would like some of these are like highly intelligent people.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, you know, it's like a stereotype. Oh, surfers are dumb or whatever, right? And like with foilers, like, you know, listening to your podcast, I'm like, you don't really know the people. And then when you start to hear, I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking, I didn't know about that guy. I know Randy was an engineer. Like, I didn't know that, you know, like you're like, wow, dude, like there's some highly fucking, you know, interesting people.
It's like,
you know,
anytime you see anybody, it's just like you see the surface of them, you know, for a second, and they say stupid shit. And then you think they're like, oh, that guy's a dodo bird.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, that's just how we interact, you know? We just talk shit to each other. You don't realize that there's some depth to all these people that you're hanging out with, and the depth. And it's cool to get to know everybody and get to know you and all the whole community, right? So and that's what this whole thing's about, you know? So the world can know to come to Puerto Rico and surf caballos.
No, that's...
I saw you cringe for a second.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just joking. There's no access to that spot. There's no way anybody's getting there.
Yeah, no, it's a heavy wave too, dude. Like,
no, it can be super sketchy.
Yeah.
If you're not careful and you don't know what you're doing, there's no way you want to go out there unless you're with Alex or somebody that really knows what they're doing and knows how to respect the spot.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And even with like guys like Alex told me one time, he goes out with Stefan a lot. Stefan, he lives in my building, and like one time it was so big they went out, and Stefan couldn't find him, dude. And he ended up like picking him up like a half an hour later, like down at El Cuervo.
Damn.
So they're
That's crazy.
he's like floating, you know, triple overhead waves in the impact zone. And it's like, so it's, you know, a lot of shit can go bad and fast.
Yeah, I got these like these new suits that are fully impact float vests, like wetsuits, shorty wetsuits with these impact like pads and stuff. They're super cool. That's,
nice.
For big wave season, you guys are definitely going to want some of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Impulse buy.
Yeah, right? I was like, oh, dude, don't buy anything when you come here, dude.
Yeah, I saw you looking around the shop. You're like, I'm going to sit right here.
I think I'm going to take one of those mid-length boards there.
Yeah, that KT thing is pretty nice. Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah. You want to leave people with anything special?
Yeah.
This is your moment.
This is my promotional, like, check out Acai Express, right?
Yeah, you can do that for sure.
Yeah, no, nothing. Just thank you for everything. You know, if you're looking for a good acai bowl, check out Acai Express. We're in the supermarkets now. And also, if you want a sweet cookie plug, that's the newest thing we're bringing. So
that's the real plug.
The real plug. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, thanks.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know which one it is. It's this one.
Oh, that shit pretty fast, huh?